family. I'm gonna preface the video. Pay attention. This to my good white folks. This for y'all. Black folks too, pay attention.
Good morning. What we're going to be talking about today is what I've called the biggest game in town. My name is Walter Burian. I live in Prescott, Arizona. I became aware of something approximately 10 years ago, which changed my life.
Let me pause this. I have to say this. All right, family. This information right here, family, this shit gets people killed. All right? I don't even know if the brother, and I'm gonna call him, I'm gonna call him a brother. I don't care if he's white. He's a brother. He's my brother. Because he's about truth. I see, family, I do my research on any and everybody I get information from. This is a brother. He's my brother. He's about truth. I don't even know if he's still alive, Holmes. And that's the truth. And if he's not alive, then you know what it is. We at war. But let me say this, family. This information right here, this information, Holmes, this is big. I'm talking to the individuals who are somewhat aware of how money is circulated throughout the United States economy and throughout the world, and how the value was established, which it really has no value, and and its inception. Okay, this is bigger than the whole Federal Reserve being a private bank. This is bigger than that. This information, Holmes, will get you smoked. If you got power, influence, and resources, and you are aware of this will get you smoked.
I'll give a little analogy of how I learned about the complete financial takeover of the wealth of this country by composite government. Back in 1989, I lived in New Jersey. There was a governor by the name of Jim Florio who was running for office under a no new tax platform. He won, and as soon as he got into office, a $2.8 billion tax increase was enacted, the largest in the state's history. It's obvious that the public was not too thrilled about Mr. Florio's actions, and one of the local radio stations, 101.5 FM, started doing some rabble-rousing, taking calls from listeners on examples of wasted misspending in government. The first 2 days I was listening, and I heard people calling in with examples of 5,000, 15,000, 85,000 was the highest figure I heard. I pulled out the state of New Jersey's budget report, which is the only thing I was aware of at that time. They had $11 billion on budget, $6 billion off budget. The total annual service budget was $17 billion a year. I called into the show and I made the comment, "Come on, guys, you're missing the whole point."
Let me pause, because this may be confusing some of my people, and this may be confusing some of the white folks who listen. All right, I'm a business owner. To all my business owners, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. But even if you're not a business owner, let me give it to you in a nutshell like this. Okay, so so every state in this country, okay, this country is a corporation. That's number one. All right, every state in this country has a multitude of businesses, okay, that are for profit. Then they have a multitude of municipalities that are non-profit, but they still generate revenue, money, okay? So every state has to account for all of the money that their for-profit businesses bring in and that their non-profit municipalities bring in. They have to account for this, okay? And they have to account for this, and they have to present it to the federal government, okay? And they have a document, and it's like 10,000 pages or whatever. They have a document that they have to that is submit that once they submit the numbers, a document is formulated, and it's called the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. Okay? CAFR. Okay? And anybody can look this up. It's public record. Now you gotta be I mean, you know, if you don't know how to, it's a bunch of numbers and shit, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't an auditor or you ain't no, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna be able to crunch the numbers. It's gonna look like gibberish to you if you ain't an accountant. That's what I meant to say. But, okay, so here's the thing, family. What has been done in this country after Prohibition, after they made alcohol legal? Okay? What these WSs in power have done is they usurped the mafia, who made billions of dollars by trafficking alcohol, moonshine, all around the United States. They made that bad. Just like how they claim that we trafficking drugs and all of this, we all these bad, we just criminal. They've been doing the same shit. Alright, so what they did was when they usurped the mafia and they confiscated all those billions of dollars, right? Of course, they're not going to turn the money over. They want to keep the money for themselves. So what they did was they hid the money that they confiscated, billions of dollars. They hid it in assets in every single state in the United States of America. And not only did they do that, when they, you know, when the years started rolling and the businesses started running, and the municipalities and the money started coming in, we paying all these tax dollars for this, that, and third. You know what I'm saying? They taking all of that money in, and they invest in it in foreign companies. And instead of showing the profits, they're showing the assets. So when the auditors come in to do the to do the report for the comprehensive annual financial report, all they looking at as far as numbers is investments and assets. They're not looking at profits. So these motherfuckers are smart as shit, bro. They hot, man. They stole trillions. Let me let my man go.
The highest figure I heard was 85,000. The state's dealing with billions of dollars. I read off the figures. I said there's fraud, waste, and spending taking place on teams of tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. The DJ at that time challenged us, the listeners, to start a tax protest organization to repeal the $2.8 billion tax increase. 10 of us got together the next day. I incorporated a group called Hands Across New Jersey. We scheduled our first rally 10 days out from that point, and basically, with the help of 1.5, we had 115,000 people converge on Trenton from all the shore points in New Jersey, effectively shutting the city down. Now, during the course of organizing that rally, I took over looking at the budget, revenue, and finance of the state. And I have been approximately for about 15 years. I was a commodity trading advisor. I was one of the first tenants of the World Trade Center back in 1979. And large figures did not bother me, right? $100 million and $1, there was no difference. So when I started looking at the figures on the New Jersey budget report, as I mentioned, there were 11 billion on budget, 6 billion off budget, showed a net available of 25.6 billion. Then I asked myself the number one question that IRS asks in an audit: what are the cash gross receipts?
But
I started noticing the large cash cow groups in state government, the New Jersey Turnpike, Garden State Parkway, Port Authority, New York, New Jersey. The revenue was not inclusive.
let me say this. You heard what he said? He named transit points. Transit points. Anybody that has been involved in drug trade or illegal trafficking of any type of merchandise or whatever they call illegal, you move and through these major transit points. And if you get, let me give you an example. And in this area, if you was involved in the drug trade, let's say 7, 8 years ago, right, and you running back and forth to New York, one thing you knew is your probability of getting caught and getting locked and getting hit with some charges and getting locked up for a large amount of time is on that New Jersey Turnpike. Okay? Transit points. Let my man go.
In the budget report, I didn't see any large returns from investment funds on the budget report. And I said, they have to have two sets of books here. They're not accounting for the whole picture. The director of the budget at that time was an individual by the name of Richard Keevy. He was on vacation till the following Tuesday of that week. I found out who his lower assistant was, called in, and the conversation went just like this. I said, hi, this is Walter Burian. I'm working on a report for Richard. I have to have it done by Tuesday when he gets back from vacation. I need all the figures on the autonomous agency accounts, interest accounts, investment accounts. And the reply I got was, oh, you want the comprehensive annual financial report. Ding. First time I've ever heard that before in my lifetime.
Whew.
Got it that Friday. Started crunching numbers. It showed a total liquid investment funds of $188 billion. $188 billion. Of which common stock ownership $70 billion, all owned public and private corporations $10 billion, insurance company equity participation $14 billion, all owned public and private corporations $10 billion. And I started looking for the total cash gross receipts, as I mentioned, what IRS would ask for in an audit. I found it on page 174. Now this is 1989's comprehensive annual financial report. On page 174, under cash additions, all agencies, all departments, all sources. Here's a state with a declared service budget of $17 billion, who was bringing in $86,799 million in cash. I saw that figure and instantly realized the definition.
Okay. Our brother William, he's talking a little fast. Family, did you hear what he just said? He just said that they reported 17 billion, but they brought in 86 billion. 1989 homes.
Of syndicated organized crime. Here we have a representation to the public that the state of New Jersey was bringing in 17 billion, when in reality they were bringing in close to 86 billion. They had 188 billion in liquid investment funds. And I also learned the principle of operation that day.
Let me say this. If you're not a business owner, you may not know what I'm talking about. Liquid investment funds. Liquid means cash. Okay? Everybody knows what investment means. You know, liquid means cash. So when you're engaged in quote unquote criminal industry, when you're in the criminal industry, the best way for you to be able to enjoy your money, right, but hide it and not have the IRS fuck you over, is to take cash and invest it into, make cash investments, okay? So what you want to do is you want to look for businesses that the majority of their transactions are cash. okay? Like laundromats, barber shops. You know what I'm saying? You don't walk into a laundromat and swipe a fucking credit card. I mean, yeah, not even that. So I'm just giving y'all a little bit of game here. But that's what you do.
Anything that was a cost and an expense. Traditional service side of the budget report, health and welfare, human services, motor vehicles, was left into the budgetary basis, and the public footed 100% of the bill for 100% of the services. Now, anything that was a profit center had the ability of being a profit center, large investment fund that generated tens and hundreds of millions of dollars, totally restricted by statute for no tie or inclusion whatsoever with the budgetary basis. Now, this is what I called the biggest game in town. I saw a person in New Jersey, and I said the comprehensive annual financial report. Here I am, a commodity trading advisor. I was doing a national news line coast to coast at the time. Never heard of the comprehensive annual financial report. I wanted to find out why. I was mad. I mean, there was such a distinct difference between the revenue on the comprehensive annual financial report and the minuscule revenue that was shown now on the budgetary basis. I said, why did I see this on a newspaper, a radio show, TV show? Now,
because it's all a scam.
The department that mailed out the report, the comprehensive annual financial report, was from the Department of Treasury. I called the mailroom, and the mailroom usually doesn't get a call from the public, so they were very cooperative. I wanted to find out who the report was sent to. I thought it was a short list. They said, I'm sorry, sir, the list is too long. We can't read it to you on the phone. So I started qualifying. I found out it was sent to every editor of every paper on the East Coast. It was sent to the deans of all of the colleges. It was sent to the CEO and every one of the directors from ABC, CBS, NBC. When I verified that, I started smelling cooperative effort for non-disclosure. I then got the telephone number from ABC and NBC where the report was sent to. I called, and the conversation went just like this. This is Paul Beering calling from the Department of Treasury. We've been sending you our comprehensive annual financial report for the last 14 years, and we're doing a logistical survey on how many other states are sending you their reports. Could you please tell me? ABC was getting it from 36 states, NBC was getting it from 34 states. When I heard that, now I'm getting very mad. I'm starting to see a clear-cut cooperative effort for non-disclosure on the most important information that exists in this country, period. The extent of the financial takeover of composite government of this country, the wealth of this country, with the cooperation of the syndicated media for non-disclosure.
Listen to the terminology. He said it's syndicated media for non-disclosure. I'm gonna translate that for you. Syndicated means syndicated means it's coercion. It's coercion. It's a group. Okay, when you're syndicated, you are connected to a large conglomerate of corporations. All right, that's what syndicated means. So when he's using the term, he's using it egregiously. So syndicated media, just like I keep telling y'all, the mayonnaise media, they're all CNN, NBC, Fox, they're all the same, homes. They're all the same. Syndicated media.
My next step was I called New York's Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, which showed approximately about 735 billion in liquid investment funds. I then got the City of Manhattan's report. Now, when I mentioned the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, it's not just the state. The majority of all cities, counties, school districts, pension funds, autonomous agencies, such as the New Jersey Turnpike or New York Thruway Authority, put out a comprehensive annual financial report. When I got Manhattan's report, it showed liquid investment funds of $1.2 trillion, more than the entire state. My mind started getting boggled as to, thinking of the composite totals for all the states, all the counties. Subsequently, over the last 10 years, I've been factoring in and compiling the aspect of composite totals. The current figure stands at about $60 trillion plus in liquid investment funds. The composite totals for all cities, counties, states, and the federal government. Now, the viewers of this show would say, well, wait a second here.
I don't think my brother is alive. His name is William Brenner. I don't think he's alive. Because this right here, this is no game. This will get you smoked.
I thought we're in debt for the state, in debt for our school district, or in debt for the federal government. Well, let me explain something. I'm going to give you the biggest wake-up call in your life. This example holds true all across the country for city, county, state, and the federal government. You always hear the budgetary basis referenced, the budget report. Now, I'll use this one example. Say, for example, you are making $100,000 a year, and your budget for operating your house is $20,000 a year. You could audit your budget 100 times over, count every nickel, dime, and penny on your budget report. If you spent $19,000 this year, you'd have $1,000 surplus. If you spent $21,000 this year, you'd have $1,000 deficit.
That you owe.
Now, in reality, if you decided you wanted to spend $30,000 this year on your budget for operating your house, would you go knocking on your neighbor's door saying, "Hey, John, I had $20,000 allocated to operate my budget, but I spent $30,000. Can I borrow $10,000?" I get pulled from your $100,000 salary. Government across this country, on the city, county, state level, and federal, have created a two-tier accounting structure. One, the annual operating budget, the cost side of operating government for the year. The monies they bring in for the year to handle that cost and what they expend. What's being left out is the decades of investment wealth, enterprise ventures, which generate hundreds of billions of dollars each year, which are not inclusive in the budgetary basis. Government has turned into a financial empire across the board. And the public basically allow the foxes to write laws on how many hens they can eat from the hen house.
The public has no idea. To my white people, my good white people, I'm talking to y'all. Y'all business owners, you can probably understand some of this verbiage like I can because I'm a business owner. Y'all have been fucked over. We have been fucked over, but I'm black. I know I've been fucked over. Y'all have been fucked over, huh? Y'all have been participating in a Ponzi scheme. Matter of fact, y'all have been participating in a fucking Ponzi scheme and a fucking racket. That's what the United States government, the IRS, is. A huge Ponzi scheme and a fucking racket.
And of course, foxes being foxes, they've eaten all the hens. When you start looking at composite totals of revenue, basically, when you look at composite totals of revenue and compare it to the private sector, government currently now is substantially bigger than the private sector. We're standing at about 65% government, 35% the private sector. Now, when you look at stocks, as I mentioned, New Jersey, I saw, had $70 billion in common stock ownership. That's floored me. I never even thought about New Jersey as a state owning $70 billion in stocks. Composite totals, city, county, state, and federal, on stock ownership equates to approximately $32 trillion. That's over 53% of the entire open interest of all issued stocks from all exchanges is owned by composite government sources. You won't have one city or county or state owning a phenomenal base in one stock, but you'll have thousands of the different cities, counties, and states owning the composite totals. They own over 51%. So when you look at individual corporations, Xerox Corporation, IBM, AT&T, the primary owners are composite government funds. And we listed as institutions.
Oh my God. That's a monopoly. He just described a monopoly, huh? What did Attorney Automatics tell us In 1996, I think it was, Turning Automatics, he told us that everything that the WSs do in power, everything that they tell us not to do, they do. He said they tell us can't create a monopoly. It's illegal. But they create a monopoly. He just described a monopoly. He just described a collusive banking practices between corporations, Holmes. That's a fucking monopoly.
Institutional funds. When you see the word institutional funds, that is government monies in most cases. So when you have a supposed public corporation, say 72% owned by composite government funds, I wouldn't call that a public corporation. I would say that's a government operation. Xerox is approximately 72% owned by composite government funds. AT&T is around 42%, so on and so on. But the bottom line here is, when I learned this was a revelation that changed my life. Up until this point, when the comprehension finally dawned on me, prior to that, I always thought the government was maybe 5% of the GNP of this country, and this was a free market economy, and I learned I was wrong. Basically what the public has done here, I did this, you did this, we all have done this, we left the vault door open. In fact, 95% of the public would say, vault? What vault? And those sharp little crackers said, thank you very much, have a good day. Now, the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, this is from Missouri, there's a total press blackout of mentioning the name of this report, the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. This is Missouri's of 1997. This is Ohio's cover page for 1998. I have the state of Utah's 1998. I also have Washington's and Maryland's figures. Also, this is from the state of Arizona. The state of Arizona Retirement Fund Comprehensive Annual Financial Report for 1998, which I'll make some very interesting notations on.
No shit.
Now, the federal government, this is the federal government combined financial statement, the last page from the report. One notation, the federal government in 1981 mandated that all local governments prepare a comprehensive annual financial report, every city, every county, every state, or in the alternative, a combined financial statement if they did not prepare a comprehensive annual financial report. The background on the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, a group by the name of GFOA, Government Financial Officers Association, in 1946 created the Comprehensive Annual Financial Reporting Accounting Structure. I think the city of Manhattan produced one of the first ones in 1951 as a large entity. So the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report has been around for quite a long time. There are 54,000 separate government, corporations, cities, counties, school districts, authorities that produce their own separate report. That's 54,000. You start looking at the composite totals of the revenue from 54,000 reports, the cities, the counties, the states, and you see the $60 trillion inclusive with federal government's revenue. Now, about 5 months ago, I got a call from an individual by the name of Joe Long, who runs a group called Federation of New Jersey Taxpayers. And he called me up on Sunday morning and he goes, Walter, we just got New Jersey's 1998 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. They have $295 billion in liquid investment funds. Isn't that awful? And I said, Joe, you're just looking at the state report. There's 21 counties, a couple hundred cities and municipalities. Autonomous.
Family, you just described. See, I gotta always make these quote unquote street references. He just described racketeering. He just described tradecraft, financial tradecraft, large-scale financial tradecraft, collusive banking practices, which is monopoly. And the reason why a monopoly is said to be illegal is, okay, it's like this. If I got a company, right? My company is called Fives, whatever. Fives company, right? And I'm competing with your company. And then your company is competing with another company. And another company. And another company, right? So we're competing for the dollars of the consumer, so to speak. But behind the scenes, me as Fives company, I'm investing money in you. And you invested money in the other company, and the other company, and the other company. You see? So we're all in collusion. That's a monopoly. It's a scheme. Because see, in a free market system, which is what they say we're in, which we're not, you got investors. So if let's say I got Fives company, right? And I got 30 people from my neighborhood who are investors in my company. They buy stocks. They own stocks in my company, right? But I'm practicing collusive behavior, collusive banking practices with the companies that I'm supposed to be competing with, right? So I'm taking their money and investing in what is supposed to be my competition, quote unquote. You see where I'm going here? That's a monopoly. That's why it's illegal.
Statements, all separate reports. If you take the composite totals of liquid investment funds, you're well in excess of $1.2 trillion. If you take the population of New Jersey, divide it by 1.2 trillion, that comes out to a cash allocation of $146,000 per man, woman, and child living in the state, for a family of four, 700 and some odd $1,000. The obfuscation of the wealth has been excessive. But just one notation regarding the federal. This is not just going on in local governments, city, counties, and states. Federal government's playing the exact same game. And I've noticed a lot of people always point the finger at the federal government as bad guys, but when you break down the actual revenue of the 60 trillion, 2/3 of it belongs to the local governments, the city, counties, and states, and 1/3 belongs to the federal government. Now I'm going to try to do a close-up shot on this one page here.
I hope our brother's alive.
Okay, here we have this is the last page from the federal combined financial statement. This is the appendix list of significant government entities included in the combined financial statement. Now, the majority of the items included, if we can scroll down the page here, we get a close-up there. Now, the majority that are included.
I hope our brother's alive, family. I'm gonna end it with this, man, because I'm gonna break this all the way down to my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube. I downloaded this video 7 years ago. Okay. Now, what I wanted to do, I wanted to see if it was common, so I Googled it, like 40 minutes ago, right? I went on YouTube to see if it was still there. This video is gone. I swear to God, I put that on Earth. I put that on the ancestors, bro. This video with our brother William Brenner is gone, bro. Completely gone. Trying to tell y'all, man. He says he called it the biggest game in town. Cuz, family, this information, Holmes, will get you smoked, bro.